Welcome back to the deep dive. Today is Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. And if you are looking at the calendar with a little bit of dread, maybe just that feeling that you've already messed up the year,
You're not alone.
you are definitely not alone. We are officially just over a month into the new year.
Which is, a very significant date. It's statistically the danger zone.
It's the hangover after the resolution party. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the week where the whole new year, new me thing just, it runs out of gas.
Right. The gym gets a little quieter.
And those old habits you swore off, they start knocking on the door again.
And it's this classic conflict, really, the human condition.
Mm-hmm.
We collectively know what should make us healthy. It's not a secret.
Right. Eat more vegetables, move your body. We get it.
But we are, and this is the key, we are shockingly bad at actually doing it. Consistently, anyway.
And when we fail, we look for a scapegoat. I think a lot of us just throw our hands up and say, well, it's my genetics. My grandfather died at 60, so what can I do?
Exactly. The genetic excuse. And that brings us to the first major, reality check from the research stack today. We have to strip away that safety blanket.
Okay.
The sources we're looking at, specifically the Danish twin study, they completely dismantle this genetic lottery myth.
I found this study just fascinating because it actually puts a number on it, It's not vague.
Right. They looked at identical twins to really isolate the genetic variables.
And the results were?
They were stark. The study established that only about 20% of how long the average person lives is dictated by genes. It's just 20%.
That's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's empowering.
But on the other,
It means the other 80% is on us.
it's on us. It means 80% is the environment you build, the food you eat, the friends you keep, how you move your body. You're not a passenger here. You're the driver.
And if the car crashes, you can't blame the manufacturer. Wow. Okay, that is a heavy realization for a Wednesday morning. So if we're the drivers, we clearly need a better map. And that's the mission for today's deep dive.
Right.
We are connecting two massive and usually separate stacks of research. We've got the blue zones, the secrets of the longest lived people on Earth.
And we're smashing that together with behavioral psychology. So James Clear's Atomic Habits and some really new data from 2025, which gives us the how.
I'm all about the cheat codes for living to 100.
And I'm more focused on the systems. Because, knowing a shepherd in Sardinia lives to 102 is great trivia.
But I'm not a shepherd.
Right. You can't just move to a Sardinian hillside. We need to translate those secrets into something that works without causing total burnout.
Okay, so let's start with that blueprint, the blue zones.
So these are 5 specific places on Earth, pockets where people reach age 100 at rates like 10 times higher than in the U.S.
And they are Loma Linda, California, Nicoya in Costa Rica,
Sardinia in Italy, Ikaria in Greece, and Okinawa, Japan.
What's wild to me is how different these places are. You've got a Greek island and like a smoggy highway town in California.
Totally different. But when the researchers dug in, they found these common denominators. They call them the Power 9.
And what's not there is almost as important as what is.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
None of these people belong to a gym. None of them are, running marathons or counting macros.
That's the one that always gets me. Move naturally. I mean, when I think get healthy, I picture myself on a treadmill just suffering.
They don't exercise.
Yeah.
Not how we define it. Their lives are just set up to constantly nudge them into movement. They garden, they walk everywhere. In Sardinia, the villages are built on these steep hills.
So you can't even go get bread without a workout.
Exactly. It's constant, low-intensity motion all day. It's sustainable for 90 years. CrossFit usually isn't.
Another big one is diet, but more the psychology of it. The Okinawans have this thing, hara hachibu.
Yeah, this is a 2,500-year-old Confucian mantra. They actually say it before meals.
And it reminds them too.
To stop eating when their stomachs are 80% full.
80%! That is so counter to the clean plate club I grew up in.
Well, it's about the lag time. There's about a 20-minute delay between your stomach being full and your brain getting that signal.
Well, if you eat until you feel full, you've already gone too far.
You've overshot by about 20%. And that little gap, over decades, that's the difference.
Okay, that makes sense. It pairs with another habit they call downshifting.
Which is all about stress, because chronic stress creates inflammation. And inflammation is tied to pretty much every major age-related disease.
But they have stress. Life isn't easy in these places.
But plenty of stress. But they have routines to shed it every single day. The Sardinians have happy hour, the Icarians nap, the Adventists in Loma Linda have the Sabbath.
I am officially advocating for the Sardinian happy hour. Which I guess brings us to wine at 5.
The controversial one. The data does suggest that moderate drinkers in these zones actually outlive non-drinkers.
We have to be really careful with moderate here, though.
Extremely careful. We mean 1 to 2 small glasses a day, usually with food, with friends.
Right.
And in Sardinia, it's this specific Canino wine, which has way more of these artery-scrubbing antioxidants.
So you can't just save up and have 14 drinks on Saturday.
No, that's just binge drinking. That will kill you. The context is everything. It's social.
Speaking of social, this brings us to my favorite part of this, the Okanon concept of moais.
This redefines friendship. A moai is a group of 5 friends committed to each other for life.
Committed how?
Financially, emotionally, for life. They're put into these groups at age 5.
At 5 years old. I mean, we're lucky if we can get 5 friends to agree on a time for brunch.
Get this. The sources mention one specific moai that's been together for 97 years.
No.
Yes. Their average age is 102. They still meet every day to drink sake and gossip.
The security in that is just, it's hard to imagine, knowing you have those 4 people for a century.
And that security is biological. If you look at the Harvard research, you see the flip side. Social isolation, loneliness.
Oh, it's toxic.
Toxic. The data shows persistent loneliness can increase your risk of early death by up to 57%.
57%.
It's comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So these moais aren't just a cute cultural thing. They are a literal survival mechanism.
Okay, so the blueprint is there. Move naturally, eat to 80%, downshift, find your tribe. But
Here's the problem.
most of us are not shepherds in Italy. We're living in environments designed to make us sedentary and isolated.
And that's where the fantasy falls apart. We try to copy the what without understanding the how, and we burn out.
Which brings us right back to today, February 4th, the graveyard of resolutions. And there's this myth that you just have to power through for 21 days.
The 21 days myth. Oh, it's so damaging. Yeah. Because when day 22 rolls around and it still feels hard, people think they're the problem. They think they failed.
But you found a study from just last month, January 2025, that just demolishes this idea.
Yeah, University of South Australia. They found 21 days is basically nonsense.
Yeah.
The median time to form a new habit is between 59 and 66 days.
So 2 months.
At least. And for more complex things, like a totally new workout routine, it can take up to 335 days.
Almost a whole year.
A whole year. So if you're struggling right now, in February, you haven't failed. You are just in the middle of the process.
That's a huge reframe. So we need to stop thinking in sprints and start thinking in systems.
That is the core of James Clear's Atomic Habits. He says we're obsessed with goals. I want to lose 10 pounds. But goals are just the destination.
They don't get you there.
No. He says, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems.
I think about that quote all the time. Winners and losers have the same goals. Everyone wants to be healthy.
It's the system that's different.
Yeah.
And the best systems rely on what he calls the 1% rule.
The math on this is crazy.
It's so compelling. If you get just 1% better every day at the end of a year, you are 37 times better.
But the flip side is terrifying.
It is. If you get 1% worse each day, you decline pretty much to 0. It just shows how these tiny, tiny choices compound.
So why do we quit? Why do we fall off? The MD Anderson source points to the all-or-nothing mindset.
The perfectionist trap. You eat one cookie, so you say, well, the diet is ruined, I might as well eat the whole box and order a pizza.
I have done that. It's like getting a flat tire and deciding to slash the other 3.
Perfect analogy. But if you're playing the 1% game, a cookie is just a tiny data point. A 1% slip. You just correct course at the next meal. You don't burn the whole car down.
Okay, so let's get into mechanics. How do we install these systems without relying on willpower, which we know is a losing game?
We have to understand the brain. There's this process called synaptic pruning.
Sounds like yard work.
It's very similar. Your brain is a huge energy hog, right? It uses about 20% of your calories, so it's always looking to be more efficient.
Yeah.
If a neural pathway isn't being used, the brain sees it as dead weight and literally dismantles it to save energy.
So use it or lose it is an actual biological command.
Exactly. And the pathways you do use get reinforced. They get coated in this stuff called myelin, which is like insulating a wire. It makes the signal go faster.
So my habit of checking my phone first thing in the morning, that's a superhighway.
A paved 8-lane superhighway. And a new habit, like meditating, is like trying to hack through a jungle with a machete.
No wonder it's exhausting.
This is why habit stacking is such a genius hack.
Yeah.
You stop trying to build a new road from scratch. You just build an on-ramp to a highway that's already there.
Okay, give me a concrete example.
So the formula is, after current habit, I will new habit. Don't just say, I'll meditate in the morning. That's too vague. It requires a decision.
And decisions take energy.
Right. Instead, you say, after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. Pouring coffee is the superhighway. You're just hitching a ride.
I love that. After I brush my teeth, I will floss one tooth.
Yes. After I take off my work shoes, I will put on my running shoes. You just remove the debate.
You remove the friction. So let's apply this. Diet is always the hardest. You mentioned mindful eating.
Right. And I know that can sound a little woo-woo to people.
A little bit.
But there's hard science here, especially about distraction. When you eat while you're scrolling on your phone, your brain literally misses the satiety signals from your gut.
To blow right past that 80% mark because your brain is focused on the screen.
Exactly. So the tip isn't eat more kale, it's put the phone away, eat slowly, chew your food. Just do one thing at a time.
Simple enough.
But there's another layer to this about aging that I found absolutely fascinating in the Harvard research. It explains why older adults often start eating so poorly.
It's not just that they're stubborn.
No, it's sensory loss. Up to 60% of adults over 70 lose a significant amount of their sense of taste and smell.
Wow, so food just tastes bland.
It tastes like cardboard. And what do you do to compensate? You dump salt and sugar on everything. And that leads to hypertension, diabetes.
So what's the fix?
You pivot to other sensory inputs. The source suggests focusing on umami, that savory flavor in mushrooms and tomatoes, and also kokumi.
Kokumi. Never heard of it.
It's a Japanese concept. It means richness or mouthfeel. Even if you can't taste the nuance, you can feel the texture, the creaminess.
Ah, that's smart. That is such a practical tip, especially if you're caring for aging parents.
Right.
Okay, 2 more pillars. Sleep and environment. Let's start with sleep. You found a specific trap related to alcohol.
The alcohol trap, yes. It's tricky because a glass of wine does help you fall asleep faster. It's a sedative.
So people think it helps them rest.
But the quality of that rest is garbage. Alcohol blocks REM sleep, which is the restorative dreaming stage. And then halfway through the night, as your body metabolizes it, you get this rebound effect and you wake up.
So you might be unconscious for 8 hours, but you're not recovered.
Your brain didn't get what it needed.
Okay, so wine at 5, not at 10. Got it. Now, environment. Let's talk about the life radius.
Right. The idea that 90% of your life happens within about a 5-mile radius of your home, if that radius is designed for bad habits, your willpower will eventually lose that fight.
And they proved you can engineer this. The experiment in Albert Lea, Minnesota.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
They didn't just tell people to try harder. They changed the town. They built sidewalks. They worked with grocery stores to put the produce up front and hide the soda.
They made the healthy choice, the easy choice, the lazy choice.
And get this. Life expectancy jumped 3.2 years. Healthcare costs dropped 40%.
That's incredible. But if you can't redesign your city, how do you apply this to, like, a studio apartment?
You have to be the architect of your own microblue zone. If you have cookies on the counter, you will eat them. It's that simple. Hide them.
So increase the friction for bad habits.
And decrease it for good ones. Put the fruit bowl out. Leave your running shoes by the door so you literally trip over them. You're manipulating your future self into doing the right thing.
Okay, so we've got the blue zone secrets, the 1% rule, habit stacking, environmental design. But there's one last piece from Atomic Habits that feels like it holds it all together.
Identity.
Identity.
This is the deepest level. Claire No argues that true, lasting behavior change is identity-based. It's not about what you want to achieve.
It's about who you want to become.
Exactly. So instead of saying, I'm trying to quit smoking, which implies you're still a smoker struggling,
You say,
I'm not a smoker.
that sounds like a small change, just semantics, but it shifts the whole narrative.
It does, because every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. Every time you choose the salad, you're not just being healthy for a moment.
You're casting a vote for the healthy person identity.
And with enough votes, the identity shifts. It becomes who you are, not just something you're trying to do.
I love that image, casting a vote for your future self.
And if I can leave you with one last thought,
Right.
let's circle back to the blue zones and the concept of ikigai.
Which is purpose.
Purpose, yes. We've spent this whole time talking about the mechanics, diet, exercise, synapses, but the data suggests that just knowing why you wake up in the morning is worth up to 7 years of extra life expectancy.
7 years. That's more than some of the diet changes.
It is. So the question for everyone listening is this. If you nail the diet, You master the systems, you perfect your sleep, but you don't have a reason to get out of bed.
Are you missing the whole point?
Is the goal just to live longer or to have a life worth living? The blue zones seem to show us it has to be both.
That is a powerful place to leave it. Hopefully you feel a little less guilty about your resolutions and a little more equipped to just
And
start building those
the
systems.
same for 1% better tomorrow.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you in the next deep dive.